Congress is currently reviewing legislation that could bring a brand new monthly payment to thousands of disabled veterans. Unlike a standard COLA increase or a one-time benefit, this proposal would add an entirely separate monthly check to existing VA compensation. For eligible veterans, it could mean hundreds or even thousands of additional dollars every year. Yet many people who stand to benefit still don't know the proposal exists. That's the reason we're covering it today. The veterans this money was created for are often the least likely to ever receive it. No letter will arrive in the mail. No one from the VA is going to call and tell you it's available. During my 22 years working inside the Veterans Benefits Administration, I saw this happen over and over again. The people who needed these benefits most were usually the last to learn they existed. There are 3 things you need to understand about this new monthly payment. First, what it actually is, because it isn't a universal raise for every disabled veteran. Second, the existing VA benefit it's built on, a benefit that hundreds of thousands of eligible veterans have never claimed. And third, the qualification process and the single form that starts everything. Stay with me, because knowing the payment exists won't help unless you also know how to qualify for it. Let's clear up one common misunderstanding. Some people are claiming every disabled veteran will automatically receive a larger monthly check. That's simply not how this proposal works. The payment is intended for a specific group of veterans, and once you understand who they are, you'll know whether you qualify or whether updating your VA file could put you in line for these additional benefits. This video is for veterans with service-connected disabilities, especially older veterans whose conditions have become more severe over time. It's also for spouses, surviving family members, and adult children helping an aging veteran every day. You may recognize someone you love in what I'm about to describe and help them receive benefits they've earned. My name is Frank Sutherland. For 22 years, I worked inside the Veterans Benefits Administration evaluating disability claims and applying VA regulations. Today, I want to explain this proposal the same way I would have explained it inside the system. The bill is called the Sharie, Bryley, and Eric Edmonson Veterans Benefits Expansion Act. It recently passed the House of Representatives and includes a new supplemental monthly payment of $833 for qualifying veterans. The key word is supplemental. This is not an automatic raise for everyone. It's an additional payment for veterans who meet specific requirements. To understand who qualifies, consider a veteran. I'll call Daniel. Daniel is 71, served in the Army, and has service-connected back and heart conditions. As his health declined, he needed help bathing, managing medications, and handling other daily activities. Like many proud veterans, he quietly adapted without realizing the VA recognized his situation as qualifying for additional benefits. That's where aid and attendance comes in. This existing VA benefit provides extra compensation to veterans who require regular assistance with everyday activities. It's the foundation of this entire proposal, and understanding it is the first step toward finding out whether you or someone you love may qualify. I'm talking about veterans who need regular help with bathing, dressing, eating, using the bathroom, taking medication correctly, or staying safe throughout the day. You don't have to need assistance with every task or be bedridden. If your service-connected disabilities require regular help from a spouse, family member, or caregiver, you may qualify for aid and attendance. After 22 years inside the VA, I can tell you exactly what claims reviewers look for. They evaluate whether you can dress yourself, stay clean, feed yourself, manage bathroom needs, adjust prosthetic or orthopedic devices, or protect yourself from everyday hazards. That last requirement is often overlooked. Veterans with memory loss, frequent falls, or safety risks, like leaving the stove on, may qualify even if they can still dress and feed themselves. The key is having those limitations properly documented by your doctor. There's also a related benefit called housebound status for veterans whose service-connected disabilities keep them largely confined to their homes. It pays less than aid and attendance, but is easier for some veterans to qualify for. Better yet, the same VA form is used for both benefits, giving the VA the opportunity to determine which one fits your situation. That's important because the proposed $833 monthly payment in the Sharie, Bryley, and Eric Edmonson Veterans Benefits Expansion Act is built directly on top of aid and attendance. It isn't an automatic increase for every disabled veteran. It's an additional payment for veterans who already qualify for this overlooked benefit. In my experience, many of the veterans this bill is meant to help never filed for aid and attendance in the first place because no one told them it existed. When aid and attendance is approved, the VA pays it through Special Monthly Compensation, SMC, which provides a higher monthly payment than the standard disability rate. The proposed $833 supplement would be added on top of that, creating a meaningful increase in monthly income for veterans who require daily assistance. Lawmakers estimate this proposal could affect more than 500,000 veterans and their families, yet many eligible households have no idea they're included. So, how do you qualify? It all begins with VA Form 2-1-2680, officially titled Examination for Housebound Status or Permanent Need for Regular Aid and Attendance. Your doctor completes this form by explaining how your medical conditions affect your ability to manage everyday activities like bathing, dressing, eating, taking medication, and moving around safely. That medical report becomes the foundation of your claim. Here's what families need to remember. The VA isn't going to come to your home and witness your daily struggles. Your doctor's documentation is what tells your story and gives the VA the evidence it needs to evaluate your claim. They make their decision based on what is written in that report. So, the single most important thing you can do is sit down with a doctor who knows your situation and make sure that report describes your real daily life honestly and completely. Veterans lose this benefit all the time, not because they do not qualify, but because the report was vague or rushed or left out the help they actually need. When a veteran like Daniel finally has a doctor write down the full picture, that he needs help bathing, that he cannot manage his own medication, that he can no longer cook safely, the qualification becomes clear. Once that form is completed, you file it along with a statement explaining that you are claiming aid and attendance based on your service-connected conditions. You can file it through the VA, and you can get free help filing it from an accredited veteran service officer, which costs you nothing. You should never pay a stranger a cut of your benefits to file a basic claim. That help is available for free, and I will always tell you to use it. Let me tell you about a second veteran, because his story is the other half of this, and it is the half that saves you from a painful mistake. I will call him Carl. Carl was in almost the same shape as Daniel. He needed help getting dressed. His daughter was managing all his medications, and he could not be left alone safely. Carl actually filed for aid and attendance, and he got denied. He was crushed, and he assumed that meant he did not qualify. So he gave up for almost a year. But Carl did qualify. The problem was never Carl. The problem was the report. His doctor had checked a couple of boxes, written one vague line that said the veteran has some difficulty with daily tasks, and signed it. That is not enough for a rater to approve on. When Carl finally went back, sat down with his doctor, and had the report describe his real day, that he cannot button his own shirt, that he cannot be trusted alone near the stove, that his daughter has to lay out every pill, the claim was approved, and he received back pay to the date of that first denied claim. Same veteran, same condition. The only thing that changed was the quality of the report. So, let me give you the mistakes that get this benefit denied because Carl made the most common one, and I want you to avoid all of them. The first mistake is the vague report. The one that says the veteran has difficulty without ever describing what the veteran actually cannot do. Specifics win these claims. Vague language loses them. The second mistake is failing to connect the need for help to your service-connected conditions. The VA is paying this because your rated disabilities are what put you in this position. So the report and your statement need to draw that line clearly. The third mistake is the veteran downplaying their own struggles. I saw this constantly. A proud veteran sits in front of the doctor and says, "Oh, I manage." Okay, because admitting they need help is hard. In that honesty, that pride talks them right out of a benefit they earned. When you fill this out, you describe your worst days, honestly, not the one good hour you had this morning. And the fourth mistake is simply never filing at all, which is the most common one of them. and the only one that guarantees you get nothing. There is also evidence beyond the form that makes a claim much stronger, and almost nobody includes it. You're allowed to submit a written statement from the people who actually help you. Your spouse, your son or daughter, your caregiver, can write down in plain words what they do for you every day, how they help you bathe, how they handle your medication, how often they have to be there. That kind of statement from the person living it with you can carry real weight with a rater because it describes the daily reality that a single doctor's visit might miss. If someone is caring for you, have them write it down and send it in with the claim. Now, I want to talk about the part of this bill that nobody is covering because it may be the most important part for some of you watching. This bill does not only help living veterans, it also raises dependency and indemnity compensation, which is the monthly benefit paid to the surviving spouses and children of veterans who died from a service-connected condition or who were totally disabled for a period of time before they passed. If you are the widow or the widower of a veteran and you are receiving that survivor benefit, this bill increases it. And if you are the surviving spouse of a veteran and you are not receiving it, but your husband or wife was service-connected when they passed, that is something you need to look into immediately because survivor benefits are one of the single most heartbreaking things I saw go unclaimed in all my years inside the VA. A spouse loses their veteran, their household income drops, and a benefit that was sitting right there for them never gets filed. And here is something most surviving spouses never hear. Aid in attendance is not only for the veteran. A surviving spouse who is already receiving that survivor benefit and who themselves now needs the regular help of another person can receive an additional aid and attendance amount on top of it. So picture an elderly widow already getting her survivor benefit who now needs help bathing and managing her own medications. She may be leaving a meaningful amount of money on the table every single month on top of everything else. And she has almost certainly never been told. It runs through the same idea in a similar form. If that describes your mother or your grandmother, please look into it for her. Let me also tell you what usually happens after you file, so nothing catches you off guard. In a lot of cases, the VA will schedule what is called a compensation and pension exam, where one of their examiners takes a look at your situation to confirm what the report describes. If that happens, do not be nervous about it, but do not minimize either. Go to the appointment and describe your real daily life the same honest way the doctor's report should. Your worst days included, the help you actually need. I watched far too many veterans walk into that exam, put on a brave face for a stranger, insist they were managing fine, and talk themselves right out of the benefit in 20 minutes. This is not the time for pride. This is the time to let them see exactly what your day really looks like. Let me also tell you what to expect on timing, because this matters more than people think. When you file an aid and attendance claim, the date you filed generally becomes your effective date. That means if the claim is approved, the VA can pay you back to the day you filed, not just from the day they finally got around to deciding it. That is exactly how Carl received back pay to his original claim. So, there are really two reasons not to wait. The first is that every month you go without filing is a month you can never get back. And the second is that the sooner you get your claim on file, the sooner that clock starts running in your favor, even if the decision itself takes a while to come through. Claims like this can take time to process. If you're listening to this and thinking, I'm not quite there yet, don't wait until things become overwhelming. Aid in attendance is based on your condition today, not the disability rating you received years ago. Service-connected conditions often worsen over time. A veteran who managed independently at 60 may need daily assistance at 70. The moment your condition reaches that point, ask your doctor to document it and file your claim. Every month you delay could mean benefits you've already earned go unclaimed. Now let's talk honestly about where this legislation stands. The Sharie, Bryley, and Edmonson Veterans Benefits Expansion Act has already passed the House of Representatives, but it still must pass the Senate and be signed into law before the proposed $833 monthly payment becomes available. The bill has gained significant attention, but I won't tell you money is guaranteed until it officially becomes law. What I will tell you is this: Don't wait for the final vote to prepare. The smartest move is to make sure you already qualify for aid and attendance, because that's the benefit this new payment would build upon. If the bill becomes law, you'll already be in position, instead of starting the process from the beginning. So here's the takeaway. This proposal would create a substantial new monthly payment for disabled veterans who need regular daily assistance. It's built on one of the VA's most overlooked benefits, aid and attendance. To apply, have your doctor complete VA Form 21-2680, then submit it with the help of a free accredited veteran service officer. The bill also includes improvements for surviving spouses and dependents, making it worth reviewing those benefits as well. This week, if you or someone you care about needs regular help because of service-connected disabilities, talk with a veteran service officer about aid and attendance and VA Form 21-2680. Don't wait for headlines announcing the bill's final approval. Get prepared now. And if you know another veteran or a surviving spouse who may qualify, share this information with them. Too often, the people these benefits were created for are the last to hear about them. You could be the reason someone finally receives the support they've already earned. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next report.